Today we're making some easy and fun Valentine's Day earrings with polymer clay and pretty transfer sheets. I'm excited. Are you excited? Let's get started. We're going to start out by running our clay through the pasta machine at the thickest setting, and then we'll move down to the next setting for our earring slab. Let's feed in our clay. And now I'm going to fold the clay over and feed it through the pasta machine several more times, making sure to fold it each time. Don't mind my distorted reflection in the pasta machine. Let's turn off the mixer so we can change the pasta machine settings. And then repeat the conditioning process one more time. This pasta machine connects to my stand-up mixer and makes conditioning the clay so much easier. I'll leave the link for it in the description below. And here's our final piece, ready for the tile. Okay, now we're going to lay it on the tile, roll it out, and trim the excess clay from the edges. Here are the clay cutters we're going to be using. First, the rounded square. Next, the elongated shell shape. I really like this one. And then a small oval. Next, we have our transfer sheets from our Valentine's Day collection. This is our pink and purple heart fan bouquet. Next, our small red and pink hearts. Then our large multicolor hearts. Last, we have the love words or I love you pattern. The link for all of the transfer sheets will be in the description. Now, we're not going to use an entire sheet of each design, so we need to trim it down to fit the size of our earrings. Here I'm looking at the pattern through the cutter to see which hearts I'd like to cut out. And I'm doing the same with this piece as well. Let's cut and double check the placement. And it looks good about there. Now we're going to do the same trimming process for the other oval earring. For the red and pink hearts, we're doing diamond shapes instead of squares, and we're going to need 4 of them. So let's go ahead and cut our sheet and make sure we have room for all 4. It's a little big, so we're going to trim the rest of this off. Now for the love words pattern, we're going to do the diamond shape again, but I'm trying to find a spot where it says I love you or the word love. I think I found a good spot, so I'm going to cut the sheet out and double check the placement. I've got our I love you. Now to get the word love. This looks good here, so let's cut it out. Uh-oh. It looks like it made a dent, so let's roll that out. Let's cut this one out without the cutter on top. That's the hazards of working right over your clay piece. Looks good. Finally, let's cut the sheet for our pink and purple heart fan bouquet earrings. Now we're going to place the transfer sheets on the clay, making sure there's good contact between the clay and the transfer. Let's speed this up a little. I'm just making sure the transfer sheets are adhered to the clay really well, and the acrylic roller also helps this process along. You can see the colors are getting a bit darker now, and this means the transfer paper is ready to be rinsed off. Let's do the same process of placing the transfer sheets on the clay and burnishing for the rest of our transfers. Here I'm adding another transfer sheet because we're going to be cutting out studs from this slab as well. Now it's time to rinse our transfer sheets. I'm using a small spray bottle to get the sheet wet. Then I'll take it to the faucet and rinse the paper away under a gentle stream. This is what the first tile looks like after it's been misted. Let's watch as the designs on the second tile come to life under the water as well. So pretty. Here's a close-up of that slab after it's been fully rinsed. The designs are nice and vibrant. So here we're going to cut out our shapes for the earrings. I'm pretty picky about my cutter placement, so this can take me a while. And we even have enough room in the designs to fit some hearts for stud earrings, but those will be in an upcoming video. Hey, I was able to pull the clay in one go. So satisfying. Now these are ready for the oven. But before we bake, I'm going to put a tent over the tile. This will help to protect the clay from scorching. This is just folded aluminum foil, and I've also folded it on each side so it'll hook onto the edge of the tile. Increasing the top gives it that tent shape. So now we're attaching the tent to the tile, and we're going to make sure that the clay isn't touching the foil. Everything looks good, so we'll crimp down the edges and pop it in the oven for 1 hour at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. We're on to the second tile. I'm cutting out the words love and I love you, and then some more hearts for stud earrings. I'm also going to trim off some of this white clay to keep for another project. Unfortunately, this pool didn't come up in one piece. Wah wah. However, these pieces did come out beautifully. So let's put our foil tent on the tile and stick it in the oven. Okay, so our tiles are out of the oven. Let's do a little reveal and see how our clay pieces turned out. Here's our first tile. And the second tile. All of our pieces look really good. Next, we'll get them off of the tile, sand them, drill holes, resin, and assemble them. Let's pop these off with the tissue blade. This is what our earrings look like after drilling the holes for the findings. And here's what our earrings look like after resining. We have our hearts for studs on the right, and these are not resined. I really wanted to show you this comparison because there can be a noticeable difference between the two, and seeing this may help you to decide if you'd like to resin your own pieces. It's really a personal preference. If you like the matte look, you can seal your pieces with a matte varnish. But if you crave that shiny look, then resin is the way to go. Colors tend to pop after resining, especially if the transfer looks faded after baking. But sometimes colors can become a little more muted with resin, as you can see with the red and pink hearts. It's always a good idea to do a test piece with each finish, so you'll know exactly what to expect for your final pieces. It's time to assemble our earrings, yay! For this pair and the multicolor hearts, we're going to be using sterling silver fish hook ear wires and jump rings. I'm twisting the bottom loop of the ear wires so the earrings will face the correct direction when hanging. Here's our finished pink and purple hearts, and the large multicolor hearts. For the last pair of earrings, we're using stainless steel ball posts and jump rings. Stainless steel can be harder than sterling silver to manipulate, so I'm using a bit more pressure when opening and closing the jump rings. When attaching the clay pieces, I'm making sure that like sides face each other so they'll hang correctly. This part was a little tricky, trying to close the jump ring after attaching the post. I couldn't get a good grip and ended up dropping the earring while finishing it up. I hate when that happens. I get worried I've scratched something and now it's ruined after all of that work, but in the end everything was fine and she looks pretty. And here's the mate for this pair. Here are our final dangle earrings. They are so cute, perfect for Valentine's Day. And I wanted to show you what they look like on. So here's our pink and purple hearts, the large multicolor hearts, and the I love you red and pink hearts. I hope you enjoyed making these earrings with me. And if you did, please give this video a like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see how the designs were created for the transfer sheets, check out this video next.